Yo, what's up guys? You got pokeaim here with another Pokemon Sword and Shield moveset video guide, and this one was highly requested. I get asked every day how to use Appletun. Now Appletun is a grass dragon, much like Megaceptile, and it's really bulky because of its base 110 HP and respectable base 80 defenses. Now the cool thing about this Pokemon in the current metagame is that there are a lot of water Pokemon running around. Barraskewda, Rotom Wash, Seismitoad, so Appletun can actually have a purpose in OU, or at least the current metagame, in checking those, also being a very solid check to Pokemon like Excadrill, being able to shrug off Earthquakes even boosted, and even if it Dynamaxes, can take like +2 attacks from a Dynamax Excadrill. So the first set we have is a physically defensive Appletun set, and the idea behind this is to wall the Pokemon that I just mentioned, as well as have reliable recovery and leech seed and recover and basically not go down. Its stab and signature move, Apple Acid, is really cool because not only is it a respectable 80 base power, but it also has a 100% chance to lower the target's special defense by 1. So even special walls can find themselves losing to Appletun from the defensive side just because of Apple Acid lowering its special defense. It has reliable recovery in that recover, as well as leech seed to be annoying. I've actually used Appletun, not even special defensive but physically defensive, to deal with Pokemon like Aegislash via leech seed and recover. And the fact that Aegislash is faster, I actually even hit them harder with a move like Apple Acid despite their resistances to it. And then we have Dragon Pulse. I think Dragon Pulse is nice. I've seen some people use Draco Meteor on defensive, but I don't see the reason to lower my special attack on a wall. And basically lower its capabilities of checking even Pokemon like Dragapult. So I think Dragon Pulse is fine, especially if you Dynamax, you still will be able to knock out Dragapult if possible. We have Thick Fat to basically help with that Ice type weakness. So it goes from being 4 times weak to 2 times weak if I'm not mistaken, since it halves the damage. And this is really cool too because I've actually seen, and shout out to Mr. Jamvad for this, hopefully he allows me to use his clip, but I saw like an Appletun take on like a boosted Darmanitan if I'm not mistaken just after it Dynamaxed. So that was really cool. But again, using a physically defensive set to be able to check the common threats in the metagame. The next set we have is a substitute leech seed set, and even though Appletun is very slow, because it is a very thick Pokemon, this can allow it to basically abuse the recovery from Leech Seed as well as Giga Drain. So again, it's still physically defensive, that way it can deal with the aforementioned threats from the first set. And we just have Giga Drain over Apple Acid, mainly because all the recovery we can get, the better. The last move is a toss-up. You can run Protect, you can run Dragon Pulse, you can run Body Press. And Body Press is really cool because it goes based on Appletun's defense, which is 284 instead of its attack stat. So even if you're using like a special attacking mon, it doesn't take the attack stat into calculation. So Body Press would be like coming off of its 284 defense. Not saying Body Press is 284 base power, it's not. But yeah, it comes off of that defensive stat. So Protect is an option as well for getting recovery and extra recovery as well. Obviously with this type of set though, you want to be able to deal with Ferrothorn, otherwise it basically walls you. Magikarp, Clefable will also wall you, and like a sub, bulk up, Corviknight. You definitely want teammates that can deal with those Pokemon. In general, if you're using Appletun, I think you want a Pokemon that can deal with Corviknight. So like Rotom Wash, Appletun is pretty cool next to each other. Also, Rotom straight up resisting Ice as well is really nice. Fairy types work too. I like Sylveon for wish support, and also for the immunity to Dragon that Appletun is weak to. But yeah, Protect, Dragon Pulse, Body Press are all fine moves on the last one. Body Press is cool for hitting Ferrothorn in itself, though you are not going to be recovering because you're going to be taking the Iron Barbs while doing so. Now the next one takes advantage of Appletun's Ripen ability. If you guys didn't know, the way Ripen works is it doubles the effects of berries. So for example, a citrus berry recovers 1/4 your max HP. So, but at basically it does double that. So it does half of your HP. You basically get a half heal by using Recycle plus Citrus Berry. So that's the idea behind this. We have Recycle, Apple Acid, Leech Seed, and Body Press. Now, Body press can still be, and it's still physically defensive. Again, we keep going back to that. We're not running special defensive just because we want Appletun to be able to deal with, Barraskewda, with Seismitoad, with Rotom, with Pokemon running around. Rotom doesn't necessarily, you don't necessarily need special defense to deal with Rotom, since you 4 times resist, like, both of Rotom's stab moves. Both Volt Switch and Hydro Pump do not do anything to you. But the last move can be Body Press, and Body Press will allow you to 1v1 Ferrothorn. And as long as Ferrothorn doesn't have knockoff, it can't beat you. And the reason I mention that is because if you knock off a berry, you can't actually recycle. So if an opponent knocks off a berry, you cannot recycle it. At least that's how it was in the previous generation. So Apple Acid, again, lowering that special defense and being that stab move. Leech Seed for recovery, and basically using the Ripen to have that heal while attacking in the same turn. Whereas the difference would be in the other sets, we have Recover in the other sets for reliable recovery, but this one lets us recover while attacking at the same time. So Body Press or Dragon Pulse. Dragon Pulse is still a good option for obviously the Dragon types. Hydreigon, which isn't running like a Dragon move for the most part. Sometimes they do run Life Orb, Draco Meteor, but a lot of the sets are running like a sub, Nasty Plot, Dark Pulse, and Flash Cannon set. So Dragon Pulse can be a cool way of hitting them for a 2-hit KO. Whereas Body Press is still good, still super effective, but allows you to deal with Ferrothorn without it straight up walling you. Obviously, though, you're still going to want to have options for Corviknight. That's a big thing when using Appletun, in my opinion. And I suppose another option is potentially using like a Yachi Berry or a Pataya Berry on a different set. And I'll talk a little bit more about an offensive potential set in a second. But you could use Ripen to abuse the fact that if you have a Yachi Berry and it gets double hit, you don't. It's no longer like super effective versus you, man. The damage is no longer super effective. It's crazy. So that's an option. There's a whole lot of things that this Pokemon can use with Recycle, and if you do that, maybe you could use like a Recycle Recover set without using Leech Seed on Appletun, and just using it as that to check a whole lot of different Pokemon. Like even a Dragon Resist Berry could be pretty cool for checking Dragapult, Special Dragapult better. And the last set we have, well, the last set that I'm going to talk about that's actually a set, and then I'll mention a few other things, is the Curse set. Now, Appletun does have access to Curse, and being that its special defense is the same stat as its defense, this can be pretty cool, especially when you take into account Body Press. So, the set is Curse, Recover, Body Press, and Seed Bomb. Of course, Body Press can be changed for Earthquake. Earthquake will give you a better move versus Aegislash, whereas Body Press gives you a better move versus both Ferrothorn and potentially Corviknight, especially if Corviknight's not bulk up. You're boosting your defense, so your Body Press keeps getting stronger. But it's the idea behind this is that you're using it as a Curse sweeper. I do think that this set is probably one of the worst ones that it can use, just because you have to worry about so many things. Status, being crippled by basically status, right? Burn, poison, those are big. But making it special defensive, you can even tank hits from like you take on Aegislash better, like a special defensive or a special offensive Aegislash better, and that's why potentially if you don't want to use Body Press, you can use Earthquake next to it. But yeah, Curse obviously boosting your attack and defense and lowering your speed at the same time. Leftovers for recovery, Thick Fat for that added bulk, and then Recover to make sure that we can get 50% back. So the last option is, and I'm not actually going to make a set on it, I'm just going to talk a little bit about it, but this Pokemon does have base 100 special attack, which is pretty respectable, and it has strong moves like Draco Meteor in its arsenal. So I did see some people running like defensive with Draco Meteor. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of that. I think Dragon Pulse is fine. I'd rather have reliable, consistent damage, as much as I'd love to drop a Draco. And but especially offensive set could be cool with like max HP, max special attack, maybe Recover, and then you can use something like Apple Acid, Draco Meteor, and then either Body Press, Leech Seed, or Earthquake as your other moves. This Pokemon also has pretty cool moves in general. Like on its physical side, it has options such as Superpower, it has options such as Sucker Punch. So even on the Curse set, I guess if you wanted to run like Curse 3 attacks and like an offensive Curse 3 attack set, keep in mind though it only has base 85 attack. Like something with Sucker Punch to hit Dragapult and faster Pokemon could be pretty cool. Also, obviously when you Dynamax, that becomes Max Darkness, so it gives you a nice move versus Aegislash. But yeah, overall, I do enjoy Appletun a lot. Oh, it's Thanksgiving, right? It's Thanksgiving today. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. And that's the whole reason why I wanted to do Appletun today, because it's food. And, you know, if you're in America, we have a holiday called Thanksgiving. And I was about to say like a really grim stuff about the holiday, but, you know, we're eating food today with our families for the most part. That may be good. That may be bad. Either way, I hope you enjoy it. Sometimes being with family isn't always the best. I'm lucky enough to have a good family though. But that's besides the point. So yeah, you can use like an offensive set like that too. I just wanted to mention that. But again, big things to remember: flying resist. So steel types are really good with this. Rotom is a really good answer with it because it's an ice resist, as well as a Pokemon that can deal with the flying type attacks coming out of Appletun. Steel types are really good for being dragon resist. Fairy types like Sylveon can provide wish support and also being dragon resist for it. And I think Toxapex is a really good support mon, not only because they deal with each other's weaknesses for the most part, as in like Appletun takes the electric type attacks aimed at Toxapex, whereas Toxapex takes the poison and the toxic aimed at Appletun, but also providing toxic spikes can be really good with like a Leech Seed support set, whether it be Sub Seed or a Recover Leech Seed set. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for watching. I'll have a video up later today of me using this Pokemon in a Showdown live. Wi-Fi battle starting very soon. I'm actually starting to stack up on them because I want to be able to hit you guys hard with them. But I can only basically upload like 3 times a day on YouTube without YouTube not showing out a notification. And then I also want to be able to do stuff back on my Patreon as well. Thank you so much to those on Patreon that have been incredibly patient with me, especially when I was at the 252-hour stream. But yeah, feel free to follow me on Twitch and Twitter because I'll be live sometime, even during Thanksgiving, probably when I come back home at night. And maybe, yeah, actually when I come back home at night. So I'll see you guys next time. Thank you everyone for watching. This has been a long outro. Goodbye, my friends.